Don't worry, you'll pick up speed.
Oh, when you are here, don't forget there are some slides you could go down, which can be fun. So don't forget the slides. Hey there, fellow travelers. Mark here with Wolters World, and today we're in Valparaiso, Chile, the colorful, fantastic, gorgeous city of street art and culture here in Chile. And you're going to love it when you come here. And today what we have for you are the don'ts of visiting Valparaiso. And I got to tell you this. Don't pass up wandering the city. Yes, there's hills that will make your butt be in a lot of pain from all the walking, but the street art, the people, the culture, the food when you're going around, the views when you're here of the water, it is a fantastic place. But for me, is the vibe of Valparaiso with all the art and all the history here and the street art and everything really makes it a fantastic place to go. So don't pass up wandering when you are here. But let's show you some more of the city while we go through our don'ts.
Don't think that the street art in Valpo is just glorified graffiti or something like that. A lot of these artists are like well-established. Some are on their way up to being well-established artists. There are galleries and things full of these people's work all over the place. So don't walk by this and just think, oh, that's pretty, somebody did a good job. Nope, these are real artists, like they're working artists, and oh my gosh, some of it is absolutely incredible. So take the time to stop and savor it and really understand what they're saying or how it affects you. So a lot of the artists also have, like they have notes in these things. Like if you look, you're gonna find some, commentary on social aspects or the government or all sorts of things, maybe the heart. It just like any art in a gallery on, traditional media. These things, they say something about the artist's thoughts and feelings, and they'll say something about your thoughts and feelings too.
When you are walking around Valparaiso, don't forget to look at the steps because there's actually artwork on the steps. When you're coming down, you don't notice it, but when you turn back around, you'll see all these cool artworks and stuff in the steps. So one of those things, it's not just those awesome murals, it's also on the steps. With the street art, you'll notice they do have a slight affinity for the cats when you are here. And what's cool is when you walk around Valparaiso, you will see a lot of galleries around and little fun things like R2-D2 Trash Boy here. But honestly, there's all kinds of cute galleries, but there's lots of smaller ones. So you'll get all kinds of different art that you might enjoy when you're here. So if you are a person that likes to get art, like when we travel around the world, we like to pick up art and that's our gift to ourselves that we take. This is one of those cities you can really enjoy. And if you are an artist yourself, don't forget to bring your stuff to paint or draw when you are here because of all the colors, all the street art, everything around. It really inspires your artist inside of you. So whether you're thinking about making a little R2-D2 or picking up some art or making your own, honestly, Valparaiso is great for that. It really does get that artist soul. You feel that culture, that artist stuff when you're here.
So we've seen all this beautiful street art. This is one of the actual real artists, and her boyfriend is also another artist we've seen all over town. So please come here, enjoy, and love the art that you're gonna find all over the city.
So if you're here in Valparaiso, don't forget there's a lot of, stray dogs here. Not a ton, but there are some, but they're treated well. But don't forget to look out for their droppings around town when you're walking. Just FYI for doggy doo-doo. Also, I think it's important to notice not all the dogs you see on the street are homeless dogs. Some of the dogs just, are staying outside for the day and the family takes them in at night. So don't think they all need to be rescued. They do have a good life when they're here. Now, when you are in Valparaiso, don't be surprised if a tour group pops up because the cruise ships that go around South America, they actually stop here if they're going to go to Santiago. So a lot of them come through to see the street art that's here and the food and all the stuff before they go into Santiago. So just be aware of that when you're like, hey, where did this group of 150 cruise tourists come from? Well, this is the port you're going to be coming out of and going from. So just FYI. Oh, when you are here in Valparaiso, don't miss the chupi de mariscos or the seafood stew. Yes, when I say it's seafood stew, it's stew. It's not falling out. I've eaten most of it, but it's still there. It's got all these shellfish in there. It's really actually really good, but it's heavy with the cream. If you can't tell it's heavy with the cream, be aware of that, but it is delicious. I really like this. So yeah, look, it's like a blizzard. It doesn't fall out. That's when you know it's thick and good. So a few other don'ts I want to give you real quickly here when we talk about coming to Valparaiso. Remember, this is Chile. Don't expect to be able to throw your toilet paper into the toilet. There'll be a little bin next to the toilet. that's where it's going to go. So be aware of that. Also, if you're going to be staying up here in the hills, one thing I want to tell you, if you go out to have a few drinks, don't think it's always easy to find your way back. Make sure you have a card from your hotel so you know where you're going to go. Pin yourself on your Google Maps when you're there, because all the winding and hills and up and down stuff and the staircases and the ascensores and everything, it can get a little confusing. So just for your own safety thing, make it easier for yourself to find yourself. Like if you have your air tag, leave your air tag in your suitcase so you can find your way back, because it can get a little confusing, especially if you had a couple of cervezas and pisco sours, because yes, don't forget to have your pisco sour when you're here, because you are in Chile. That's their drink too. But also I want to say this, don't miss the sunrises when you're here, when the water comes over the water. The mornings here are gorgeous, which is hard to do because you have such a good time that you want to sleep in a bit. But don't miss those sunrises when you're here, because honestly, Valparaiso is just so beautiful. Don't be surprised if you notice that here in Valparaiso, they have the best butts in Chile, because all these hills and all this walking, you'll get a workout. And you see the locals, they get it a lot. So be ready for these hills, because they are not to mess around with. Look. Don't think it's all hills when you are here, because when you go down to the coast, there's like 5 blocks of flatness and then like this little spot here. But honestly, do not think anything is flat when you're here. It's walking, and some more walking. I think Justin has the best way to put it when we talk about all these hills.
Don't be surprised if every day is leg day in Valpo, because holy cow, they must have the best butts and quads of anybody in all of Chile with these kind of hills.
In all honesty, now there is some flat parts. If you go down by the port, by the water, you will see flat stuff. You have the Armada here, the Navy building down here, but you have all kinds of great stuff here down in the main square. Some really beautiful architecture. There's actually a market here some days as well, so if you want to pick up some souvenirs and some other things. So don't worry, the flat part is worth visiting as well. But for me, it's really seeing the architecture when you're down here, and you'll see very interesting things like the collection of the Rubik's Cube on top of a historic building. But it is one of those things when you're down here, don't just stay up in the hills. Go explore more of the city, because it is worth it. So with all these hills you're going to see when you're in Valparaiso, one thing I got to tell you is don't pass up taking the ascensores, the elevators, the funiculars going up. There's not a ton of them left, but there are some that can be very, very helpful. So don't be scared. They're super cheap to take. Literally, like one was like, I don't know, like 100 pesos. I mean, literally next to nothing. Use them because they can save your legs, but also it's a really cool view when you're there. So don't pass up those funiculars, okay? Because the ascensores can make your life a lot easier going up or down. So if you're going to Valpo, I got to tell you, don't expect a beach vacation in Valparaiso, because this is the port. So you have the port stuff here. So you have the cruise ships coming in, you have people working here, all kinds of stuff. If you want to hit the beach, you're going over to Viña del Mar, which is basically over there, okay? It's very easy to do. It's actually all one big kind of metropolitan area. But yeah, Valpo is not a beach place.
Don't forget that during the golden age of Valparaiso, there was a lot of immigration, all these people coming over, going up to the California for the gold rush and stuff from Europe. So you've got a lot of groups of people like the English, the Germans, even Croatians, huge amounts of people coming over, and they stopped in Valparaiso, and a lot of them stayed. So like behind me, you have this Lutheran church that is very Germanic. There's an Anglican church. There's a bunch of Catholic churches. There's all sorts of different groups of people, and it's really cool to see how those groups influenced not only like the cultural fabric of the city, but also the architecture. So don't forget to check out that. So when we were back at that church earlier, I talked about the different kinds of architecture that came from, the influences of Europe. There is perfect example of German Fachwerk. And all that beautiful half timber framing in those windows, it is something right out of like anywhere in Germany, but like I'm particularly thinking of like Wienergerode and things like that up in the Harz Mountains. But there you go, here's the influence.
So Jocelyn has some words of advice if you're going to go down the slide.
So these slides are so much fun, you absolutely should do it. But no, this one in particular, slightly angled this way, so you're literally running into the wall and like trying to get myself the other direction. I didn't hurt anything though, praise God.
Yeah, but it's fun, so do it. So when you're here in Valparaiso, what you might not realize is actually the Parliament of Chile is actually here, and I gotta tell you this, don't think the Parliament of Chile really fits in with the vibe of Valparaiso, because you see this big, huge building that doesn't really work, and it makes you wonder about the government's decisions sometimes. But then you think, oh, the restaurant for the government officials are at the top with that view. I understand. Everyone else has got to eat on the basement, but the people in the Parliament, they could eat on top. But yeah, it really doesn't fit with the motif of the city, which makes it a little bit controversial for the architecture stuff here. But it is something that is here because they try to spread out some of the stuff from Santiago, so they put the Parliament here to make it so not everything's in Santiago so it can grow. Because honestly, Valparaiso, they put it with Viña del Mar. It's about 1 million people, which makes it the second largest metropolitan area in Chile. So you got a lot of options when you're here, and if you're looking to come here, don't worry, there's plenty of accommodations from hostels, affordable hostels to boutique hotels, all kinds of stuff for you to enjoy. So if you're coming to Santiago to grab a cruise from here, you can come and stay here, and you can have a few days here to enjoy before you go off. If you're looking to come from Santiago, don't forget it's not that far away on a bus. If you're going to drive, it's 1.5 hours, 2 hours. The bus is probably about 2 hours and a bit to get from Santiago to here, but it's very doable. So if you want to do it for a day trip, don't think this can't be a day trip from Santiago, but I will tell you, don't be surprised if you're like, you know what, I didn't need to spend more time here, because we're actually spending a few days here, so it's not just a one-day kind of thing. And I was here years ago and loved it, so I told my kids we have to go back to Valpo. It is one of my favorite cities in Chile. Now, when you're in Chile, you're going to notice Chile is a very safe country for South America, and you're going to have that, like, I don't need to worry vibe. I will tell you, when you're in Valparaiso, it's a pretty safe place, but I would say this, don't silence your safety monitor that you have on. You hear the beeps going on, you hear these things. You do need to be aware of this, because so many tourists do come here. You do have the pickpockets, you do have some other issues you might want to think about, but also in the evening time, you want to be safe, so be smart. And don't feel bad if you ask your hotel, your hostel, hey, where should I go? Where shouldn't I go at night? Because there are some safety issues you might want to think about when you are here, just like anywhere else in the world. But I know when you're a place that's so beautiful with so much street art and so many cool things, you're thinking, oh, there's no problems. No, there can be, so just be aware of it. If you're going around during the day, it's not really a problem, especially if you're going to see like the street art and going to see museums and stuff. It's not a big deal, but in the evening time, maybe keep an eye out. And if you're going to be driving, always take all your stuff into your hotel, your hostel, or wherever you're staying. Don't leave your stuff in the car. Now, if you're going to be driving here in Valparaiso, I got to tell you, I don't think these are all one-way streets. These little streets like this, they go both ways. So you might need to back up occasionally, let people go through. So whatever Google says the driving is to get someplace in Valparaiso, definitely add some more time and frustration onto it to make your life a little bit easier. But yeah, sometimes it gets a little narrow and cars going both ways. Now, I know I said there's no real beaches when it comes to Valparaiso, but I will tell you this, don't forget about some of the day trips you can do. We've actually come down to the coast. We drove down 1 hour or so to get down farther along so we can hike along the coast. It is really beautiful, but if you just want to go to beaches nearby, go over to Viña del Mar, which is literally, you can take the local public transportation there. It's basically the same, I guess you'd say, metropolitan area, and that's where the beaches are. Also, that's where the clubs and the partying are, especially in the summer. And don't forget, summer here, yeah, it's flipped. Summer here is December, January, and February, okay? So that's when you have a good time when you are here. If you're looking for that beach stuff, well, you're getting the culture in Valparaiso. So don't forget about coming to the coast, because this stuff is great. But once you go down the coast, don't think there's a lot of sandy beaches. You want those sandy beaches? Stay in Viña del Mar. Come here for the hiking when you go farther down the coast. And the thing is, I know we talk about the street art and all these things around the town, but I want to tell you this. Don't think it's just street art when you're talking about culture when you're coming here to Valparaiso, because this city is literally the capital of culture of Chile, with all the things they have going on, the events that go on here, the museums they have. I'll put a list of the museums that are on here to help you out, but honestly, this is a really good cultural city to kind of take in this stuff, meet the locals, eat really well, like the fish soup and other things, but honestly, just a good place to go if you're looking to get something more than just Santiago. I can't say enough how great Valparaiso is to visit, so don't forget to come here when you are coming to Chile, because honestly, it's a fantastic place. Anyway, if you have other don'ts that people need to know about coming to Valparaiso, please put it in the comments section below so travelers can have a better time when they come to this beautiful city. Bye from Valpo.